You've probably asked yourself this exact question. How long does it actually take to become a consistently profitable trader, day trader, swing trader, whatever? Because nobody wants to spend years going in circles, losing money, and feeling like they're stuck in the same position over and over again. Some people online will tell you that it takes a month. Others will scare you with 10 years or more. And as someone who's made hundreds of thousands of dollars inside of the market between trading and investing, I'm going to break down the real answer here. And I'm also going to cover the mistakes that keep people stuck and the shift that finally got me on the right track, and what it actually looks like when things start clicking. So here's why this question matters so much. If you don't have a clear picture of the timeline, you'll constantly second guess yourself throughout this entire journey. You'll open up the charts or go online and see everybody posting profits and then start wondering, am I behind? When is it going to be my turn to start posting profits? And what am I really missing? It can't be that hard if all these other people are winning inside of the market. You'll also see traders celebrating huge wins in groups on YouTube or in Discord chats and then start to feel like you're the only one that's still trying to figure things out. And that's the dangerous part, because when you start comparing your day one to somebody else's 5 or even 10 years, or maybe you might have a few months or maybe even a few years inside of the markets, at that point you stop focusing on what actually builds skill. Everyone can learn how to trade profitably with the right strategy and the right structure. That's not the real problem. The real problem is that most people quit before they ever give themselves a fair chance to win inside of the market. It's not because they're lazy, it's because they never had a realistic path to begin with. And if you're working full-time, managing a family, trying to squeeze in trading on the edges of your day, you need to know what's realistic so you can stop beating yourself up. So you can also stop rushing the process and finally focus on what moves things forward inside of trading. Because once you understand what's normal on the path to profitability, you can finally breathe, you can finally take your time, and you can build confidence in the markets the right way. And if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video. So when I first started trading, I believed 2 big myths, and honestly, they cost me a lot of time and money. The first one was I thought that if I just work harder, I would get there faster. So I would stand up late, staring at charts until my eyes hurt, watching them on repeat and just thinking, if I study just a little bit more, I'm gonna figure it out eventually. And all that did was just overload me with a ton of conflicting advice. One person said, trade the breakout. Another one said, wait for the pullback. And the third one swore by some random indicator that I never even heard of. So I kept trying to piece all this information together and ended up more confused than when I started. Myth number 2 for me was that I thought that profitability was about finding the perfect strategy. Like there was this one secret setup or this magical candlestick pattern that I was somehow missing out on. And after I found that, everything would finally make the market make sense. And from there, I just start printing money overnight. So, spoiler alert, in case you weren't aware, it doesn't work like that. And of course, I burned through a lot of money chasing that illusion inside of the markets. Every loss for me felt personal. I felt like I was missing out on something that everybody else had already figured out. And maybe you felt like that too. Maybe you're drowning in information at this point, jumping from one idea to the next, and all you really want in the markets is clarity. And basically, how do I read this chart? How do I start making money? And that's why it is impossible to see real progress, because I wasn't missing a skill, I was missing focus, because I was all over the place with all these different strategies that I kept finding online. And if you're at that stage right now where you're trying to cut through the noise and build consistency in your trading, I've built 2 different paths depending on where you are. If you're brand new and you haven't taken your first trade yet, or maybe you're just trying to figure out the basics, I created the Trading Launchpad for you. That is where you'll get the foundations you need to start trading without feeling confused. And if you're a little bit further along in your journey, maybe you've taken some trades, but you're struggling to be consistent, that's where the Profitable Traders Academy comes in. Inside, I'll help you redefine your strategy, get feedback on your trades, and actually build the habits that lead to long-term profitability. Both links are below when you're ready. But don't click off this channel yet, because next I want to walk you through what the average timeline really looks like for traders who stick with it. And also, if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and like this video. We want to make sure as many people as possible find this video on YouTube. The real shift for me came when I finally understood that profitability is not about speed, it's about structure. And for the longest time, I kept asking, how fast can I make money? But that question kept me chasing results, chasing setups, and chasing other people's success. And one day it hit me. The better question was, how can I follow my process consistently? That simple shift changed everything for me. I stopped trying to trade every setup I saw online. I picked up one strategy, the one that actually made sense to me, and then I committed to mastering it. That was it. I also started documenting everything, like screenshots, taking notes, even what I was thinking or feeling during each trade. Now, I will admit at one point it did become a lot, but somehow going back in that trading journal, it became my study guide. And it showed me my progress, my patterns, not just the profits I made inside of the market. And for the first time, I wasn't reacting to the market. I was studying my own behavior in it. And instead of judging myself for every single win or loss inside of the market, I zoomed out and I started tracking my results over 10 trades instead of every single trade. That's when I began to see the bigger picture and that losing one trade didn't define me. And then also at the same time, having a winning streak didn't mean that I was invincible in the market. And that was the breakthrough I was looking for because I saw my process working. Even with the ups and downs, I knew that eventually profitability was coming. It was just a matter of letting the numbers play out. And in just a minute, I'll tell you what that timeline actually looked like for most traders. So that way you'll know whether or not you're on track. And also, if you're not on track, this video is going to help you figure out exactly what to do next. So if you're finding this content helpful so far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video. Now here's what I see with my members, and honestly it's one of the favorite parts of what I do. Most people start to feel competent about 3 to 6 months of really focused and intentional practice in the markets. Now that doesn't mean that they're suddenly experts and they're paying bills every single day with profits from the market. It means that they've built enough awareness to know exactly what they're looking for. Even if they still miss trades or hesitate sometimes, they can look back at the chart and say, it's okay. I know what price level matters and I know where my setup needs to happen. This for some people is a huge shift, going from guessing to recognizing exactly what they need to see inside of the market. Then consistent profitability usually shows up around the 12 to 18 month mark. That's when traders have logged enough hours, they reviewed their notes, and then they start cleaning up the little things that make a really big difference inside of the markets. Sometimes it's those entries that are a little too early or X's that are a little too late, and these emotional moments that used to throw them off track. Once those trading edges get a little bit sharper, then the results start to become consistent. One of my members joined because she was tired of trying to figure it all out on her own. She had been jumping from strategy to strategy for months. When she came in, we started from the beginning. She focused on one clean setup, tracked it religiously, and then within 4 to 5 months, she was sending me screenshots of back-to-back-to-back wins. Now, to be fair, she had already had some basic trading experience already, so her progress was definitely a little faster than average. But that's not what made the big difference. It was her consistency. Because profitability isn't about being perfect and never losing. That doesn't happen in the markets. It's about being able to trust your process over time. To know that even if one trade doesn't work out, the next 10 ran with discipline will bring you right back on track to where you need to be. And that's when everything starts to click. If you've been wondering, how long will all this take? The truth is, there isn't just one exact timeline. It really comes down to whether you're following a clear plan or just picking up random strategies. If you're just jumping from one strategy to the next, it could take years. But when traders stick to one approach and practice it, they get feedback from somebody who knows exactly what they're doing. That's when your progress in the market speed up. For most people who actually commit to that, it takes about 12 to 18 months before they start seeing consistent results. And that's going to be realistic for most people. If you're brand new, start with a trading launchpad. If you're ready to go deeper and really push towards that consistent profitability, then the Profitable Traders Academy is going to be your next step. Either way, the links are below. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and share this with 10 people you know. Go ahead and subscribe and make sure you check out the other videos that are here on the screen because we want to make sure as many traders as possible see this content. I'll see you in the other videos.